Hello, welcome back. It is time for my monthly recap. March wasn't as prolific a month as some of the other ones I've had. In fact, I only watched 86 movies this month, which is kind of too shy of where I wanted to be. For the year so far, I watched 298 movies. Now this month, I managed to watch 45 on disc, 41 on other mediums. And it's been a pretty good month, but I've had a lot going on personally in my just general life. There's been a lot going on, and it's been tough to really sit down and watch a lot of movies that I kind of wanted to get to. I got most of the ones scratched off the list that I wanted. And when I wasn't watching those, I was busy doing work for YouTube, and I just needed comfort movies. So this month I watched a lot of rewatches, which was good. But usually when I'm doing that, it's because I'm feeling a little bit run down. I've got other things in my mind and I need something I don't need to concentrate on. So this month I watched some 90s blockbusters. I watched the Rush Hour trilogy. I watched a load of Steven Soderbergh movies. Just comfort things, like I said. But as usual, I've got my top 5 lists for things that I watched for the first time, top 5 things of rewatches of movies that I just dug a lot while just checking them out again. So we're going to jump in to the top 5 movies that I saw for the first time in March. So number 5 for me is Humanoids from the Deep. I really dug this a lot. You know, I had that late 60s monster movie sensibilities mixed with those 80s genre sensibilities, and I think it worked tremendously well. And I know it was a kind of problematic production, but I like the output that came from this. You know, it kind of melds some creativity and amongst some just silly over-the-top gore. But I like it. It's Roger Corman at his best, doing what he does best, and I really thought the movie was tremendously fun. And the disc from 88 Films was packed, had lots of good extras as well, and 2 commentaries that I am going to back and check out because I just really liked the movie and I'd like to hear some more thoughts on it as well. Number 4 for me was a viewer suggested movie when I was doing a live stream. Someone said check out House of Long Shadows, and I loved it. The review for it's coming soon, but it felt like a very Hammer sensibility of a movie, but produced in the 80s by canon of all sorts. Great cast: John Carradine, Vincent Price, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, all in the one movie. Kind of gothic horror ghost story set in a dilapidated manor. What wasn't to love with that one? I couldn't wait to check it out, and it lived up to my standards that I wanted. Next up, we have Zack Snyder's Justice League. I had no urge to check this out. I was kind of caught up with everybody talking about it, put it on expecting to zone out pretty quickly, and found myself really enjoying this movie. Aesthetically, story-wise, it all worked and created one of the more enjoyable comic book movies that I've seen recently. Number 2 was a member requested review from Carol, who wanted me to check out Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Blew me away, made me uncomfortable, made me feel for the characters and worried for one of them in particular. This had a kind of sense of dread and tension that slowly built up. Sure, some of the performances are a little bit broad, but I think within the nature of the story it works incredibly well, and you've got 2 kind of smart characters, 2 great performances bouncing off each other, and a story that just, it really did affect me. I loved this one, and while I'm here, I've got a join button on my channel if you want to become a member. It's little as 99 pence, and it helps me really a lot in keeping this channel going and putting out as much content as I do. Number 1 movie I watched this month for the first time that I just utterly loved was a screwball comedy from Indicator called 20th Century. I just loved everything about it. The performances, the quick-witted humour, the direction from Hawks, the way the story kept evolving and bringing in secondary characters that didn't really add much, and then all of a sudden they were integral to the story. The quick banter between the characters was just wonderful. I loved it. I loved the look, the style, the comedy, the fast-paced language and the way it was delivered. It just was 100% for me, and one that I knew I was going to love instantly when I put it on. Now on to the top 5 rewatches. Things I've seen before. Like I said, it's very blockbustery, pulpy, populist kind of stuff this time round, because it was all kind of comfort watches for me of things that I wanted just to sit back, not have to think about, not have to worry about doing reviews for, just soak up and just enjoy. Number 5 for me was Underwater. I really dig this movie a lot, and I think it's one that a lot of people wrote off. I know I did. I didn't go to the cinema to see it because it looked kind of typical of those kind of Hollywood blockbusters, and it's not. This is the second time I've watched this, and I think it's amazing. I really love the tension. I love the characters, the design, the way the story's told. I think it all works together tremendously well, and if it's one that you missed out on, give it a shot. You can pick it up really cheaply, and it's a great kind of thriller. I hate to say this, it's almost in the vein a little bit like Alien, that claustrophobic feeling of being in some other kind of trapped place where they can't get away from something that's there. Number 4 for me is I went back and watched Michael Bay's Armageddon, and I love the movie. At times it feels as if it's a parody of itself. It's not taking anything seriously. It's got everybody, it's even got Bruce Willis engaged in a role, which I think is great. It's got a wealth of supporting characters that are all super fun and enjoyable to be with. It's quickly moving, it's ludicrous, it has moments where I'm just like pumping my fist cheering at the sheer lunacy. It's got extremely silly moments, overly trite, indulging moments. It is a blockbuster on every sense of the word. I think it is absolutely amazing. It's incredibly silly, and like I said, feels like a parody of itself, but I love those moments as well. It was such a great rewatch of this one. Next up we have, as part of my Soderbergh movies I watched, Out of Sight. I just love this movie. One of the things I kind of like about it is the washed out colour palette, the characters, their interactions, the relationship at the heart of it. The way there's a sense of dread and tension, especially when they get to Detroit, the characters, you feel like something bad is going to happen, and it's just a slow creeping dread that climbs up your spine until it encapsulates your skull, putting pressure on you. You feel as if these characters might not make it, and you love them so much by that point that you want them to get away with this. You feel that Snoopy's such a horribly aggressive character. It's just such a great movie, great performances, and I think it's one of Soderbergh's best. But on this watch, there was something better than that. My number 2 movie, Ocean's 11. Ensemble cast, everybody just having fun, easy, breezy movie with a heist at the heart of it that I really like. I love heist movies. I love to see these quick-paced movies that put all these people in situations where it doesn't tell you everything that's going on, gives you enough breadcrumbs to kind of put it together, but it's still a surprise. You like all the characters, you want them to win the day and get away with it. And it's just so easy to watch. It's so fun and pleasant, and just one of those ones that doesn't really tax you, but it draws you in and entertains. Number 1 this month is Grand Budapest Hotel. I utterly love the movie. It's another kind of screwball comedy. Ralph Fiennes just great. I won't call him Rafe. I hate that Rafe Fiennes nonsense. It's Ralph. I just love his performance. I think it's immense. Again, another great ensemble cast, all giving wonderfully different performances, all adding to this movie exponentially. And it's one of those that's visually pleasing, exciting, funny, and just rewarding to re-watch. I think it's Wes Anderson's possibly best movie, and I just utterly loved it. March for me in the collecting stakes was a somewhat biased month, I would say, because it was all Indicator based. The Indicator sale happened. I had 6 movies from that, and I had my 4 movie package for the month because I'd pre-ordered that. 10 movies from Indicator out of the 18 that I bought. I've watched them all. I've done reviews for them. They were great. Great pickups. From 88 films, I get Humanoids from the Deep and Murphy's Law. I enjoyed both. Murphy's Law was a little bit more forgettable, but still fun at the time. From Eureka, I got the Nightwing Shadow of the Hawk double pack, which was really enjoyable. Dropped to £12 on Amazon. I had it pre-ordered at 19, and I cancelled it. I thought it's too much. And then 2 days later, typical Amazon, dropped to £12, and I felt that was a more comfortable price, so I picked it up. Same with V. Again, £20 pre-order, 2 days later drops to £12. So I got that, and I loved V as well. And probably my favourite Eureka release of the month was the Lucky Stars trilogy, which was just more Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, Yun Biao stuff that was just so much fun, comedic and action-packed as well. I kind of enjoyed that. When I look at April, I only have a few things ordered, and I don't really see me getting much more than that, although there is quite a lot that interests me. So let's talk about the things that I have ordered. There's a Nico Mastaraskis movie out from Arrow, Death Has Blue Eyes. It's £18. Now, I'm not willing to pay £18 for it. It was a pre-order on iTunes for $2.99, thanks Paige for alerting me to that. I've pre-ordered a digital copy of this movie. That might be enough for me. I know it's his debut film. I'm interested, kind of giallo sensibilities. Curious enough for $2.99, not £18 curious, so I've got that. Next up from 101 Films is The Headhunter, and I've already got my copy in of that. I can't wait to watch it. There'll be a review coming soon. This one just sounds amazing. Let me just read out the back of it. On the outskirts of a kingdom in the shadows of a looming castle, a quiet but fierce medieval warrior protects the realm from monsters. A gruesome collection of trophy heads on the wall of his cabinet is missing only one, the monster that killed his daughter. 72 minutes, fantasy epic. I don't know. I've been super excited to see this one since I heard about it. It's only a couple of years old. I think this is going to be great. I'll have a review when I've done it. The John Ford double set from Masters of Cinema. Hellbent and Straight Shooting. Instant pre-order. I love Masters of Cinema. I love John Ford. I'm really curious about these. I know very little about them, and I've ordered it. Out of the monthly Indicator package, there was only one that really jumped out of me as something that I needed immediately, and that was Irreversible, the limited edition. Now, I've heard that Irreversible is a very challenging movie. It's not something that you're going to revisit constantly, but I really want to see it. I may be singing a different song once I've seen it, but I've got that ordered. There's another few movies that I'm interested in. I doubt I'm going to get, but I'm on the fence, and I could see me picking up a couple of these, along with the titles I'll be receiving from my Arrow sale. Shrunken Heads from Full Moon Films is a movie that I remember watching in the mid-90s. Now, I'm going to get it at some point to see it, because I remember liking it. It's bonkers. 3 kids die, their heads get shrunken, and then they start flying about trying to get revenge from the people that killed them, I think. I remember it being very silly, but I remember really enjoying it. Maybe that was the teenage me, but I will revisit it at some point. Second Sight have a limited edition of Raw coming out. I really liked Raw. I thought it was a wonderful tale, really well told. It was gory, it was interesting, strong themes at the heart of it. I just don't know if I really want it in the collection. I don't know if it's a movie I'm going to go back to often, so that is one that I will think about. I Start Counting from the BFI is one I'm really interested in, but I'm also interested in the American version of it, so I'm going to weigh that down to transfer, extras, see what's on, and pick up which one of those I'm going to get. From 101 Films again, not only have I picked up Headhunter, I am tempted to get Spookies again. I have the Black Label range. I'm thinking about picking up. If you haven't got Spookies on your sites, pick it up. It's a weird 80s horror movie oddity, but I think it's worth checking out. But this one comes with 2 feature-length documentaries that are amazing and are worth buying this package just to get. You get one on the making of Spookies, explaining everything that went on, which is really great. And then you get the Vipco one, explaining all about the video nasty error and the Vipco video range that really took off. These are wonderful additions that really elevate this disc. This is one not to be missed. If I didn't have the Vinegar Syndrome one, I would be getting this. I have the Vinegar Syndrome one, and I'm still considering getting this. It's that good a disc. They're also releasing Pledge Night, which is another Vinegar Syndrome movie. Wonderful transfer, great extras, a real oddity, a kind of supernatural movie that kind of starts off as a low budget campus comedy, moving into the more gory, twisted second half of the movie. I like this one a hell of a lot, and I do recommend it. We also have from Criterion, The Darjeeling Limited. This is a Wes Anderson movie that I haven't seen, so hopefully you guys can maybe sell me on it a little bit. We have Meatball Machine from Third Window Films. I'm really curious about this, and I know nothing about it. It's just on my radar. From Arrow, we have the Battle Royale 4K and the Donnie Darko 4K. I'm not getting the Donnie Darko 4K. It's one of those, I don't need it. The last edition is great. I'm happy with that. Battle Royale is one that I am really on the fence about. Initially, I was like, I got to get that. Now, I'm not so sure. It's one that I may regret taking out the basket, but I think it's going to go. The only reason I can see me getting it is if someone gets it for my birthday. But I'm getting to the point where it's not essential. I don't like the sequel. I don't know if I'd use much of the extras. I'm interested in the 2 cuts of the movie, which is probably the thing that's swaying most. But we'll wait and see. And probably one of my favourite releases, which, and the only reason I've not ordered this as yet is it's not up on 88 Films website for me to pre-order as yet. As soon as it is, I will be ordering it. Supposed to be coming out on April the 19th. It was delayed from March. It's the Urban Legends trilogy. I loved the I Know What You Did Last Summer. I cannot wait to get Urban Legends. I love the first movie. The second one is a bit of a strange one. I sometimes love it, sometimes hate it, depending. And the third one was a kind of low budget step away from the original 2. I kind of liked it. It was nothing special. It's way better than I Still Know. I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. It's way better than the third entry in that franchise, so already it's got a step up there. And I love the packaging, I love the design, I love the extras, the 2 cuts of the movie, so I'm sold on that. I'm going to be getting that. I'd love to know what you're picking up. I'd love to know if you've watched anything for the first time that just blew you away, or anything you rewatched. Let me know your favourites that you watched this month, or what you're bought, what you're picking up, anything like that. And I'll see you next time on Man v Film.